Welcome back to our fireside chats here on the farm, and we're still playing around with the name of Run Your Race, the Dark Horse Group podcast.
We're getting there, though.
Yeah, I think we're running our race. I think it's working. Today we want to talk about leadership in real estate, how to lead, motivate, and grow a team. The first question that I would have for you as the team leader, what makes a great real estate team leader?
So there's a million things that can benefit you as a team leader, but I think there's one thing that if it's not present, you won't succeed as a team leader. And I'd say that's grit. You have to have it. There's tough days, months, and years, and if you're not willing to dig down and do what it takes, that may be nights, weekends, holidays, that may be early mornings, late nights. Well, I guess I did say nights. Mm-hmm. So it's just, you got to be willing to grind.
With that, though, how would you describe your leadership style?
My leadership style, I've interacted with a lot of leaders from military to corporate to real estate, and getting a little...
I know, we got sprayed with ash.
Yeah, we're getting snowed on from the ash. But I've interacted with a lot of leaders, and from that, I think you take a lot of good things and bad things from them to try to mold yourself into the best possible leader. And for me, you got to lead from the front. I do not expect a single thing from my agents that I would not be willing to do. And I think as a leader, when people see you out in front doing all the things, rolling your sleeves up, not trying to preach something that you've never done, because I think that's a pain point that we all have in real estate. You have coaches, you have recruiters.
Everybody's a coach.
You have influencers that are just, they sell that you're just going to get rich overnight and you're going to just do a 4-hour work week and you're going to be a millionaire. That's a big pain point. So get out there, show up, and if you're a leader, don't expect things that your agents that you haven't done. So you want to recruit people over that are selling 100 homes? Well, you darn well better have sold 100 homes, so you have that roadmap for them.
What would you say is the biggest lesson you learned leading people?
I think that culture is the most important piece. You have to have a good pulse on that, and you have to be willing to protect that at all costs. When you're leading people, you need to listen. You need to be willing to make changes, but it's your job as the leader to be the captain of that ship, and you have to steer them in the right direction. And with all that feedback that hopefully you're listening to and accepting of, you can't jerk the ship one way and then jerk it the other and zigzag all across, because it'll take you years to get to that goal otherwise. So you got to be that steady person driving that ship, but that culture is so important along that way, so you got to take that feedback.
How do you keep your team motivated in slow markets?
In slow markets, this year is a challenging market, 2025, and I think these slow markets, what's so important about them is these are the markets that you take market share. So the work you do today is going to pay off when the market booms. When you're preparing for that boom,
we're boomsday prepping.
Yeah, boomsday prepping. Shout out to Robert Palmer for that.
When you're in the boom, you need to be preparing for the next bust. And when you're in the bust, you have to realize that you are preparing for the next boom.
But when you're in that period, you got to double down and you got to support your agents. They got to see you putting in the work. You need to be preparing them to double down. So that's twice as many calls. That's twice as many appointments. But there's still transactions happening. When we're thinking about 4 million annualized sales versus the 5.5+ million annualized sales, there's still transactions happening. I know it doesn't feel good to be down 1.5 million sales, but there's opportunity in this market to take that market share. So that's what we talk about. We talk about how we lean in now so we can take that market share and kick butt when the market is better.
I would say a slow market is a circumstance, but it's not an excuse.
Exactly.
It just is. What are the top qualities you look for in an agent?
Grit.
A lot of grit happening on Dark Horse.
We've done all the disc profiles, you know,
Do you
all
remember
the
when
different.
that was pushed really hard for a long time? You had to
Super
do
hard.
all these personality tests on people, and I know that for us, like, some of my most successful badass agents have been brand spanking new.
Brand new agents, and like the people that you thought based off of like the disc profile, you're like, this is the perfect agent. Well, they test really good, but they may not fit your culture. They may not actually do what they tested to.
I had 2 agent interviews in one day one time, and I remember interviewing the first person, and I just thought that you are going to struggle. Like, this is not for you. But I, gave her a shot, and she kicked butt. In that same day, I interviewed another agent, and I thought, wow, you have everything it takes. I think you're totally going to get the follow-up. Like, didn't sell a single home. Could not get this agent to sell a single home. Would not do the follow-up. Would not do the work. It was so insane. But it really proved to me that, like, you have to let people get in there. You have to let people show you they have the grit to get through it, because maybe for that first agent that I interviewed, maybe it was 3 times as hard for her to get to that same point, but she did it. What role does accountability play on your team?
For accountability, and I think this is a thing that we kind of masqueraded around with for a while, but we didn't have it, and I think it became, a next level thing. Once you have accountability, I think it elevates the team, the performance. So I think having clear expectations, having a clear mission, clear goals, ensuring that there's alignment, starting with a team contract, and then leading into all the different processes you have. Like, there has to be clear expectations in them so that the agent knows what they need to do so they can perform effectively and successfully.
And I think that's just what it's about, is communicating expectations. The team contract, for example, when people are first presented with it, might seem a little scary, but it's like, look, this is the way we get married, this is the way we get divorced. And there's no questions at the end of it, and it really saves everyone, I think, from having to guess, you know? What advice would you give someone who wants to lead their own team?
Yeah, so a few things. Number 1, don't be afraid to reach out. I mean, it's fascinating to, I think, so many people how willing we are to share our playbook and how to build a successful team. But I think the reason behind that is most people aren't willing to take action on all of that. As a new team leader, if you're thinking about starting a team, like, take action quickly, and don't be afraid of it being imperfect. Like, that imperfect action matters. So push forward. And don't be afraid, because there's no silver bullet.
I think that would probably be my thing, is just there's no silver bullet. One of the reasons that I think you share so openly, we both share so openly about what we do and things that we've been successful with and things that we haven't been successful with, is there is not a silver bullet for success. I literally can give you play-by-play, step-by-step, and we do often.
Yep.
And there's no fear that, like, oh, you're going to come and take all my market share, because the work and the grit and the action that it takes someone to get to these points is so large that you have to actually do it. You can't just say, oh, I want to do that, and then I think so many people are looking for that silver bullet. They're hopping from team to team, brokerage to brokerage. They're asking everybody about, what's your system for this? What's your lead source for this? And it's like, there's a lot of value in knowing that, but at the end of the day, if you don't implement any of those things, it doesn't really matter.
And I think, like, don't be confined by what, like, the local standards are for a team. Think big, dream big, and shape your team in the way that makes sense for you. I think a lot of people stick their nose up at part-time agents, at new agents, and I think, like, create what you believe is the best team that fits your culture and your vision.
Yeah. If you are serious about growth and you want to either grow your own team or grow with Dark Horse, reach out, like, and subscribe for more content.
Peace.